Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Nikki here and I have finally made a start on round 2 of Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I started off by picking a book smaller than what I used last time. Because we've only got 2 weeks to do each one, I thought I need to go with something smaller. So I found this lovely little book in my stash, ready to empty out and use. And then after I'd made the commitment to use this book and learnt from my last mistake and pre-cut all of my little pages, I realised the spine was tiny. And there is no way in the world I am going to fit everything in here, I don't think. So we're either going to have to lose the spine and I'm going to have to make another one, or I may have another plan. I was watching yesterday a video by Louise Heinzel from Junk Journal Art, and she made this journal covers from a piece of canvas that she was sent as part of a challenge, and she stuck down lace and things like that and then used some paint in Louise's style, very grungy looking, not probably exactly what I would do to go with this, but I did think the idea of lace and then some paint and some stitches, I think I might be making another cover. So this book might just have to go on hold. I'll make the final decision when I have finished all of the pieces, but I think I made a bit of a boo-boo there. But anyway, really, it doesn't matter. I'm happy to make another cover if need be. Here I was thinking I was being really clever, but yes, well, that didn't work. So I have all my pieces cut now. They are all exactly the same size. I don't know what I did last time, but I ended up, I think every single one of mine was a different size. So we learned from that mistake too. They're all good to go. And I have completed my first block. I've realized I'm going to have to keep things a little bit more basic. I don't have the time for super duper elaborate stitching. I was late getting this started because it took me so long to finish the last one. But look, I think I'm going to call it quits on this one. It is a very simple block. I just had some fabric scraps that I tacked down. I couched some branches because I decided, even though this is sort of a winter themed one, even though the rest of mine will probably be Christmassy, because it is winter in Australia right now, it's also ridiculously cold where I live. Southeast Queensland usually has a very mild winter, but we're doing it a bit tough this year. So I wanted my first block to sort of represent that it's cold. A lot of snow down south, not here where I live. But regardless, I wanted to sort of, this to be more wintry rather than Christmassy. So the idea of the branches was so that I could add the little star, so I have that tiny little hint of Christmas in July without making it Christmassy. I've just done a little bit of bead work, just a little sort of collection of French knots down there to sort of fill that space. And how I did my deer, I was so lucky. I was going through my stamp set and I couldn't believe my luck. I was hoping I might have a deer, and I happened to find one. This is a set I bought very cheaply from Aldi a couple of years ago, I would say. And it's funny, I remember when I bought it, I thought, I'm never going to use that deer. But anyway, that's okay. I loved the camera. I loved the coffee cup, loved the heart, the flowers, and this wreath. I thought, I'm happy to pay for it. I'll just never use the deer. Well, I tell you what, that was the biggest sigh of relief when I saw this, because I really had no idea how I was going to do the deer without having to try and hand draw one or something horrific like that. So what I did, I put this onto a stamp block, and then I grabbed my distress ink. In this one is brushed corduroy. It's a softer, slightly reddish brown, which I thought was perfect. And I simply stamped it straight onto the fabric. Then I have outlined it. I've stitched all around there. And I used a really little tiny rough old paintbrush that I had with a bit of the Distress ink just to add a bit of colour, because the poor little thing was looking a little bit anemic. And of course, here in Australia, we do have deer, but they're not natural here. There's a deer farm up on the Sunshine Coast, so we don't sort of have a lot of deer things floating around here because they're just not what we have. So I have saved my day. I have a deer. It's done, and I'm very happy about that. And that is block 1. I'm going to call it finished. It is pretty basic, but again, I think I have to pick my battles and stick with things, keeping them nice and simple. I have made a plan for my second block, and what I did was grabbed a old piece of white fabric. So a simple piece of fabric. Again, I don't have anything green in my stash, and I'm trying to use what I have rather than going out and buying a ton of things. Needless to say, I did buy a little selection of stuff the other day from a great little shop I discovered, but not that would help me with this. And I have decided, look, I started off using watercolours, but as you can see, once it dried, it got very faint. So I thought, no, I think that's a bit too pale. So I just grabbed some green acrylic paint and popped it down on this side. Because my pages are quite small, I don't need that many leaves. And I also don't want them too big because it'll drown here. But my plan is to cut out some nice little gum leaf shapes. So sort of, longish with the rounder bottom. I'm just going to roughly hand cut them. I'm pretty sure I can make more than enough with this little bit of fabric I have done here. I'll do them mostly dark green. I might put a few of the watercolour ones in, dispersed around it just to give it a bit of highlight. And the plan for this is to do like an Australian bush wreath. So I popped over to Pinterest, had a look for Australian embroidery, and I found a little sample of wattle and little bottle brush flowers and a few other things. And then I think I'm going to then embroider some Australiana style flowers around the edge. So might add a little bit of bling and beading to make it look a little bit more Christmassy, but that's my plan. So that's where I'm at. At least the first block is done, and I have a plan for the second one, even though this is all I've done so far. But I'm going to do a plain white background. I've got quite a few white things, so that's going to be easy. I want it very plain so that the wreath stands out and runs the show. And I have not done my tag yet, and I'm thinking I want to do one that's on the smallish side, but I was thinking it might be quite cute if my tag is hanging down from the bottom of my wreath. So I need, of course, to come up with something to decorate said tag with, but I thought that might be a good place to have it hanging down at the bottom of my wreath. But we shall see. Time will tell. Who knows what I'll come up with. But there we are. Just a nice quick update on where I'm at with this project. So glad I did start the second one. We'll keep things a bit more basic so that my limited time will let me get through each of the projects, but it's going to be fun. And I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. So until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.